All right, so the goal here is to basically trail 1.25 ATRs behind some kind of indicator. So, so the trailing would be kind of, something approximately, 1.25 behind the anaSuperTrend here. So, all right. So let's get BlackBird up and running on the chart. Let's see, but first, I'm going to switch my data feed here. So that way we can, when you're testing out your ideas in BlackBird, it's very handy to use the simulated data feed. That way you can control the market and test all the various scenarios that you can think of. So, all right, let's get BlackBird up. So go into our strategies and find BlackBird, double click on it, and just remember to enable it like so. And then we'll open up the order settings button there. Okay, so here's our BlackBird. All right, so the important thing is the trailing stop loss. So I'm just going to create a market entry. And let's see the profit targets here. Let's set those up. Actually, I'm going to set up a custom. So, because the question was mentioning points, maybe that's why I was thinking of the ES earlier, because you're mentioning points. Yeah, because actually, yeah, 1 point on oil is pretty big. So, I'll switch back over to ES or NQ or something. But let's set up the order first. So, let's see here. So, yeah, if you want to do points, you will have to convert, ticks to points. One thing that BlackBird doesn't have yet, but that is on the list here, to be able to adjust the offset from ticks to points. But for now, it is set in ticks. Let's see. So if I convert, so if I'm going to be running on the ES, there we go. So 8 ticks is 2 points on the ES and also on the NQ. So, all right. So there's target 1. And now let's set up the stop loss. Again, I'll start from scratch here. So I'll just do a custom one. And let's see. The stop loss is going to be behind an indicator. So the select mode, instead of using price, we actually want to use an indicator value to set our stop loss. And let's go find the anaSuperTrend. All right, there it is. Of course, go in here and, if you're using custom indicator settings, change all those indicator settings to match what's on your chart. So, and then with the anaSuperTrend, we know that it's the stop dot are the dots on here. That's the plot that we're following with the stop loss. So that's okay. Now, here's the custom part of this. So we're going to apply an offset to the anaSuperTrend, and that offset is going to be the ATR indicator. So we're going to scroll down to the ATR. Where is it? There it is. Use the ATR. And, of course, set whatever period ATR you want to use. So I'll just stick with the 14 period. Call it good. And then you put in your multiplying factor here. Or, well, your multiplier or your factor. So we want 1.25. Like so. And just remember, for a long trade, your stop loss is always below your entry, so it's always a negative number. So always remember Yep, to use a negative value there. So, that's it. So that's how you get an ATR offset from any kind of indicator you want to use for your trailing stop loss. All right, now that sets the initial placement. So we will now need to go into the trailing actions, and let's set this to custom. So you can see that kind of turns it on. And let's add a trailing rule. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry. So the original question was, so after price goes 2 points in profit or 2 points in your favor, so for example the ES, then trail, so then you want to add the 1.25 ATR. Let's see, for the second contract. So you want to apply that ATR to the second contract, not the first contract, I'm guessing. Yeah, let me read a little further down here. Okay, so actually he wants the initial stop. The initial placement of the stop loss is going to be on the swing. Okay. I think I've gathered all the pieces here from the question. All right, so let's start from scratch. All right, we're going to start from scratch here. So, all right, clear it out. All right, so again, I'm just going to start with the market order. And let's see, before I get going too far here, let me switch back to the ES. All right, so with our chart on the ES, the profit targets and whatnot will make more sense. Oh, and we need one more other thing. We need the swings, highs, lows indicator, because that is going to be used to set the stop loss. I'm not sure what settings to use, but I think 4 and 3 ought to work pretty good. All right, so there we go. So we have a swing high, so we can take a short trade there, and we also have a swing low, so we can take a long trade. But of course, whenever you're using an indicator such as the anaSuperTrend or the chandelier, then there will be cases where your super trend may be in the wrong direction. So actually, in this situation, we could take a long trade because our stop loss can be placed down here at the swing low. However, once we get 2 points in profit, that stop loss is going to jump up to the anaSuperTrend, which will, stop out that first contract once you hit once you hit 2 points, in profit here. So you do have to be, very aware of how you're trading with your indicators that you're using. But yeah. But we can still build this here. So, all right. So let's get that profit target here. So we want a 2 point profit target, which is simply 8 ticks on the ES. So there we go. All right, so now the stop loss here. And we can start, right, by using the swing low high setting there. So you can see this is going to use the swing patterns, right? So basically, the swing patterns, it's just kind of a built-in interface for the swings, highs, lows. You can see it has number of swings, and I set that to 4 on my chart. And the swing strength, I set that to 3 on the indicator. All right, so you can see that basically all of this is just kind of a new interface for the swings, highs, low indicator on the chart here. So let's see. So for long trades, we're going to use the bottom plot and what I have on the chart. So the magenta and the blue hash lines, those are the widest swings. So there you go, set those to the widest swings. Okay, and if you want, you can add a tick offset from that. So I guess, yeah, just for fun, I'll throw a tick offset. So, all right, so there's our initial placement. Now we're going to the trailing rules. All right, so the first thing we want is a delay. All right, so there's a 2-point delay, so 8 ticks, 2-point delay there. So there's our delay. So, and once we have that delay, we can then start trailing the anaSuperTrend with that additional ATR offset. So we're going to go into actions. So that is what the action is, what moves the stop loss. So we don't want to move it to the last price. We actually want to move it to a indicator value. So we're going to select the anaSuperTrend. Okay, so there's our indicator. And again, I'm just going to use default values here, but make sure you adjust, all the values so that it matches what you have on your chart. And now we need to add the ATR offset. So that's going to be down here. There we go, ATR offset. And change the ATR period, if you want to whatever you think you might want to use. Select OK. There we go. Now, Vladimir asked, what happens if you set a long tick offset as well? So we could do this. So basically what's happening is all of these values just get added together, right? So BlackBird's going to start off by taking the plot value from the anaSuperTrend, right? So let's take the red, right? So the anaSuperTrend is in a downtrend right now and it's red. So it's going to take, the plot value there, that price. And then it's going to add your tick offset. Let's see. So if it's, so if we took a short trade with the anaSuperTrend, we're going to add 2 ticks to that, right? So we take the plot value, then BlackBird adds another 2 ticks, and then BlackBird is going to take the ATR value, and let's make sure we get in the 1.25. So now the value of the ATR is then multiplied by this factor here, right? So we take the ATR and you multiply it by 1.25, and you get some kind of value out of that. In, let's see, what is that value in points, I believe. And then so whatever that ATR times 1.25, you take that and you add that as well. So since this is a 5 range bar, that's going to be approximately 6 or 7 ticks. So you take the SuperTrend value, add 2 ticks for the 2 tick offset, and then add another 6 or 7 ticks for the ATR 1.25 multiplier, and add that. So it's just, so BlackBird just adds all those offsets together, and you'll end up with a stop loss somewhere around 9 ticks above the anaSuperTrend, something like that. That's kind of what I'm approximating the ATR would be. So, all right. Okay, so onward here. Okay, so we have our our action set, right, which is what moves the stop loss to the indicator value. And then repeat, since this is a continuous trailing, we're going to set the repeat to indefinite there. So now when you're using indicators to set the price of your order, your stop loss, or your profit target, indicators basically only update once per bar. So you'll want to just leave this repeat every 1 bar. You want to leave this set to bar here. So if you change it to ticks, it's not going to do any good. So actually, if anything, it's just going to use up CPU power. It's going to use up computer power for no good reason at all. So just leave it on 1 bar if you're using an indicator here. So, okay, so let's kind of find a rule here. Let's see. All right, so we're going to trail the super trend after it takes a profit. All right, I think that was it. Let me go to the chat window here. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Let's see. Oh, I did. Yeah. Hold on. Let me. Let's see. The profit target was updated to 2.5 points. So let's up that. There you go. 10 ticks. So there's the profit target's corrected now. Okay. So now I think I got everything for target 1. So now let's create target number 2. So I'm simply just going to make a copy of order set A. And let's see, target 2. Let's see, that was 6 ticks. Okay, 6 ticks. I'm sorry, 6 points. Target 2 is 6 points, so 24 ticks. Like that. And now the stop loss, I believe Constantine just wanted to move to a break even. All right, yeah, stop. Just want the stop to go to break even until target 2 is hit. Okay, break even. Simple enough. All right, but so with the stop loss for target 2, right, our initial placement, is the same. It's right. Our initial placement of the stop loss is at the swing points, just like with the first order set. But now for the trailing rules, yeah, so I guess if you don't want this in here, then we'll cancel that. And we'll put in a break-even trailing rule here. So let's do a break-even plus a tick when profit target 1 is hit. All right, so that is pretty straightforward. We're going to use the trigger event now. So if we look in the triggers, there's an order status changed here. So we're looking for the order status of the profit target to change. So what we need to do is find the order that we're looking for a change, and that's going to be order set A, and it's going to be that profit target there. So let's select that profit target, and then the mode, we can wait until all the profit targets are filled. So for example, if you're trading 10 contracts on that profit target, you can wait until all of them are filled, or you can just say, certain this one contract is filled, any amount of contracts are filled, right? Or you can even check to see if the profit target got canceled and do something, right? So the profit target would get canceled if the stop loss got hit. Yeah, we'll just put it on any filled, and then so there's our special triggering event waiting for target 1 to get filled. And now the action, the action, we don't want to move the stop loss to the last price, right? The last price is where the market is currently trading. We want to move it to the entry price, right? Break even. A break even is your entry price. And then we will add a tick to that, right? So one tick above the entry price for a long trade is, so that's a break even plus 1. And break evens only happen once, so the repeat can be left on no repeat, right? You can't repeat a break even. It only happens once. And there we go. So that is it. Okay, so let me just see if there was anything else on this before I test it out. So let's take a look at the chat board, see if there are any follow-ups or changes to this. Yeah, Constantine, it sounds like I'm getting the impression you're changing the trailing rules around a lot here, so I'm kind of confused as exactly what you want, but I guess looking at your last comment, this is close enough. So let's see here. So you're asking, I think the stop is delayed on the swing after target 1 is hit. Yes. All right. So for order set B, these so for order set B, the stop loss is going to be set to the swing high or swing low, and it's just going to sit there. There is no trailing rule. I mean, really, this rule here is not a trailing per se. It's just a move to break even. So there is nothing in here that trails anything. The way you can tell if a rule is a trailing rule per se, as we kind of typically think of trailing, you just simply look at the repeat. If the repeat is none, then I guess you could say that it's not quite a continuous trailing, right? So this break even, it's it is a type of trailing, but it only happens once, right? So it's not a break even is not a continuous trailing. So there's no continuous trailing here. It's just a one time move to break even. So and so it's only going to move to break even after profit target A. So the profit target for order set A, right? So remember, this is order set A over here where my mouse is. And so once that target gets hit, then once the trigger event becomes true or occurs, once the trigger event occurs, then the action can take place. So all right, so you have, let's see, so Constantine's saying he's got no value. Some kind of error says no value for the swing. You will need to make sure that you have, your indicators set right in BlackBird so that you do actually have a swing, a swing plot. Again, when you're using indicators to set stop loss prices, you have to make sure that your indicators settings are set so that there is a plot to place the order on. So when using indicators, that will be the biggest obstacle for people to overcome, is to make sure that your indicator is providing a plot that the stop loss order can be set to. So so always double check your indicator settings, and always have them on the chart so you can actually see them. So here's a great example. So price broke below the swing low. So there is no swing low anymore. Right? So if you're using swing points, you got to make sure that there is a swing point there. So I can't take a long trade because look, my swing low is up here. There is no swing low yet. Right? So you got to be very conscious about where your indicators are plotting at. So all right, let me Let me move the market up, and I'll take a short trade. So I can see I can't take a long trade because the swing low is above the market. All right, so now I'll take a short trade, and here we go. We can see right, my stop loss is sitting one tick above the swing high there. So now let's test the trailing of the super trend here. All right, so once price, there we go, price got within 2 ticks, and now we can see the stop loss moved down here. It's the stop loss for A moved down. Now the stop loss for B is still up there, waiting on target 1 to get hit. Now, of course, we could move stop loss B down with stop loss A as well, and then move stop loss B to break even once target A gets hit. All right, let me move the market down, and we'll get our first target A hit. We'll get target A hit, and there we go. And then stop loss B, or the second stop loss. There we go. Move to break even. I'm going to go and add that trailing to our second stop loss here. So let me just remind myself here. All right, so a delay of 8 ticks, and then we're moving it. Yeah, the super trend. Oh, yeah. Let me take these tick offsets out there. Clear that out. All right, so now it's just the ATR 1.25 added to the anaSuperTrend. All right, so I'm gonna recreate that rule again here. There we go. Okay, anaSuperTrend with an ATR 1.25. All right, and then so here's a little unique tip. So let's say we only want, right, the stop loss, the second stop loss. We only want to trail the super trend until it moves to break even, and then we don't want it to trail the super trend anymore. So we can use repeat until. Use this repeat until, and then we set the repeat until part. You can see that all these options here are the same as trigger events, right? So you can look for another kind of trigger event to turn the repeat off, right? So turning the trailing, basically the repeat is the trailing, right? The repeat is what tells BlackBird, okay, keep trailing the stop loss, keep trailing and trailing and trailing. So, but the repeat until, so these trigger events here tells the repeat to stop repeating. So what do we want? So what are we looking for? So once our profit target for A gets filled, and I'll set this to any filled, that way if you're trading 10 contracts or something like that, as soon as one contract gets filled, that will turn the repeat off there. Yeah, so there we go. All right, yeah, I think that'll do it. So let's test this out here. Let's throw in, I'll throw in 100 contracts for the first profit target here. Let's see if we can, I'm going to try and simulate a partial fill. And let's see, let's save this here. Well, I guess, yeah, that'll be good enough for now. All right, so let's close this out and let's take it for a test spin. Let's see. All right, let's do a long trade this time. So it's going to move the market up and get the anaSuperTrend to switch in our direction. So just keep in mind, since we're using the anaSuperTrend for trailing, you can only take trades in the direction of the anaSuperTrend. Right? Otherwise, your stop losses will close out your trade too soon. All right, long trade. There we go. And look here, here's a unique test. I mean, this doesn't happen to the average day trader, but I did get a split fill there. Trying to trade 100 contracts. So, all right. So once we get a couple of ticks within the profit target, then our stop losses will move up to the anaSuperTrend, right? With that ATR offset. There we go. And oh shoot, well, since we had that split fill there, and price literally had to get within 2 ticks, it didn't give our stop loss an opportunity to move to the anaSuperTrend. It just jumped straight to the break even. So let's try this again, and maybe I can get all those contracts filled at the same price. Okay, we'll go along again. And yeah, I'm getting split fills here. All right, let's knock the number of contracts down. Let's try 60. Let's see. I'm still getting a split fill. All right, let's try this again. There we go. All right. I got them all filled at the same price. So there we go. Once price gets within, let's see, 2 ticks there. And bingo, our stop loss moved up to the anaSuperTrend, right, with the ATR offset there. Great. Okay. Now, we'll see if I can get a partial fill on these 60 contracts. That's going to be tough to do, but maybe we'll get lucky here. All right, if you guys notice, our stop loss is trailing. Oh, they all got filled. Oh well. That's okay. All right, so now let's test our stop loss. Oh, shoot. Darn it, I pulled the market down and I got the stop hit. I wanted to test the stop loss trailing there. All right, let's do this one more time. All right, so I'm going to move this profit target way out here so that I can test the stop loss trailing. Now, when you move a profit target, that you got to remember that turns off the trailing here. So, and well, actually, that's right. I moved a profit target, but that profit target itself doesn't have any trailing associated with it. So it didn't turn off the trailing here. But if I move the stop loss, since the stop loss has trailing rules associated with it, it will turn off the auto trailing here, right? It'll disable it if I grab that stop loss and move it. So, yeah, so just be aware of that. If any of your orders have trailing associated with them, it will turn off the trailing. And it turns off the trailing for both the stop loss and the profit target. So, but most profit targets do not have trailing. Most people don't associate trailing with the profit target, so it's not that big of a deal. Most people don't have to worry about moving their profit targets, right? So, all right, sorry. Let's move that market up here. So what we're going to be testing again is once the stop loss for profit target B, once it moves to break even, we want to make sure that it's not going to trail with the anaSuperTrend anymore. Remember, the way we set it up is that once stop loss B moves to break even, it's supposed to stop trailing the anaSuperTrend. Okay, there we go. So our stop losses did their initial trailing of the super trend, just moved up. There we go. Targets 1 filled. We moved to break even. So now what we're looking for, and Ninja's got some weird issues with their drawing tools here. All right, so once this super trend, we're looking for the super trend to move above our stop loss here, right? To make sure that the stop loss is not following or trailing that super trend anymore. So, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to have to move this profit target way out there. So, because my super trend is not moving up yet. It's still not moving up. Okay, great. Now our super trend is moving up. But remember, we need to get the super trend way up there because we have to account for that ATR offset as well. That's added to the super trend. Well, that's probably good enough. I think that ATR, yeah, that's definitely good enough. That 1.25 ATR is probably down around where the swing high is, and our stop loss is not moving upwards with it. So there we go. I'm satisfied that it's working. That stop loss is stuck at break even. All right. All right. So Constantine wants to add another circumstance, another condition to target number 2. All right. So all right. So the question is, can we close the trade out if price moves against you by 4 bars? Let's see. Well, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. As far as counting bars, yeah, no, there's ticks against direction, so you can use that to close a trade out. But instead of doing that, you might as well just kind of like put your stop loss at whatever you set the ticks against direction to. You might as well just kind of put your stop loss there. So that's not really practical. Now the bars delay, well, that's just counting bars. It doesn't matter if it's a profitable bar or a unprofitable bar. Let's see. Oh, wait, actually. Oh, hold on. Yeah, here we go. So there we go. That's right. All events triggered. I don't think I've ever used this in a real example yet. So let's see. Actually, no, this will not work because, again, this bar option is just counting bars. It doesn't know if the bar is in a profitable position or in a loss. So this is just counting bars. Yeah, so you need to count bars and you need to know if that bar is above or below the entry price. So no, this is not going to work. That will not work. Let's see, let's check the actions here. actually, this may work. One of the benefits of, or what's the right word? One of the abilities of using the price panel here, right, is you have a look back. So let's see here. Actually, trying to remember. Yeah, I think we need to look back 4 bars. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to look back 4 bars. So what this is doing is it's looking back on the last 4 bars, and it's looking at the closing price of the bar. And then we're taking the maximum value, or basically what would be the highest value of all those closing prices. All right, so we're looking back at the closing price for 4 bars, and we're taking the highest closing price. And then, let's see, compare that to price again, and we'll compare that to the entry price. I guess let's compare it to we'll just use the OCO entry price. So for a long trade, if the closing price of the last 4 bars is below, so if A is below B for a long trade, that's the condition that you're looking for. So if the last, in other words, if the last 4 closing price of the bar had closed below the entry price, then that would make this trigger event true. So for a short trade, we want the opposite condition here. So we want A above B. Let's see. Yeah, I think that actually will do it. All right, and then the action, well, we just want to move the stop loss to the last price, right? So that'll move your stop loss to wherever the market is trading and get it closed out. But, just for good measure, I always like to throw that stop loss a couple of ticks beyond the last price to make sure that you're throwing that stop loss up into the order book, past the bid and ask price. So, because today the markets are still really volatile, and I've seen the NQ move 5-10 ticks in a millisecond, much faster than NinjaTrader can even think. So, so it's good to add a few ticks to this, to make sure it gets closed out. All right, and this is a one-time deal. When you've closed the trade, you close the trade. So the repeat can be left on none, no repeat for this. So let's see here. What do we call this? All right, so there we go. So 4 bars and loss. Let's exit the trade. Okay, let's test this out. Here, let me knock the number of contracts down to 1 there. And all right, we'll save and close this, and let's close out our current position there. And let's see, our anaSuperTrend is down, so we will have to take a short trade like so. All right. Oh, did you guys see that? That happened so quickly. Our target 2 disappeared here right off the bat. So let's see. All right. Yeah, we need some kind of delay here. Let's see. Yeah, we need some kind of a delay. And shoot, we're already using the trigger, so we can't wait for target 1 to get hit. Let's see here. Let's do this. So there we go. Ticks in direction. So we know target 1 is a 10 tick profit target, 2.5 points. So I'll just say once. Yeah, so we'll just use a delay of ticks in direction of 10 ticks. So once the market has touched 10 ticks, right, that should fill profit target 1. So, but if you wanted to, kind of guarantee that the profit target number 1 has been filled, we could up that to 11 contracts in the direction of the trade. But I think 10 ought to be good enough. Okay, so there we go. So, oops. So this 4 bars and loss exit trade, it's now going to be delayed until we have 10 ticks of profit, or basically when that stop loss 1 gets hit. All right, now let's give this a shot. All right, go short. And let's see. Oh, you know what? Actually, that doesn't make sense because, our stop loss moved to break even. All right, hold on. Let's close that out. Yeah, I'm just trying to, envision this to make sure I've got this set correctly. Well, I guess I'll just test it. Yeah, I think the max value is what we want. All right, but we're going to have to adjust this initial delay here. So we're just going to have to delay it for 4 bars. Oh, actually, maybe we need to delay it for just 1 extra bar. Yeah, just for good measure. Okay, and so we really need that rule for the first profit target. All right, so there we go. I just copied all the settings from the other stop loss, or just recreated them, I should say. All right, so now let's give this a test. All right, I'm just going to move the market up a little bit. There. All right, just going to move those targets out of the way just for the testing here. So, and again, if you're moving orders around, make sure that the auto trailing didn't get disabled. Okay, so we have 1 bar in a profitable situation here. Right, there's 1 bar in a profitable situation. All right, so now let's create a couple of bars, well, 4 bars in a loss situation. All right, that bar is in a loss. Another bar in a loss. And another bar in a loss. And bingo, our 4th bar in a loss, and we can see all the orders closed out. Yeah. All right, seems to be working. Yeah, let me just do one more test here. Looks like, yeah, the anaSuperTrend is going to flip on us here. Yep. Okay, so time to take a long trade there. All right, so there's the first bar is a loss. Okay, second bar is a loss. In a losing position, I should say. Okay, third bar is in a loss. All right, and so when this fourth bar closes, our trade should close out, I believe. All right, not quite yet. So, and that would be our delay. Okay, yeah. So, I set our delay to 5 bars. So if you did want that to close out immediately after 4 bars, we can just knock that down to 4. Knock that delay down to 4 for both of these. Yeah, here we go. Here's this rule. Let's knock that down to 4. Okay. Save that out. Now, when this 5th bar closes here, there we go. Yeah. So it took 5 bars before it closed out. Let's see. All right, let me move the market up here, and we'll test this one more time. Bar is in a losing position. All right, the second one's going to close in a losing position. All right, this third one as well. All right, so when this 4th bar closes, that should close out our position. There we go. All right. There we go. It's working on 4 bars now. Good deal. All right, guys, keep your questions coming for these workshops. They're for you guys. So with that, have a good weekend, and I hope to see you guys next week. All right, bye-bye, guys.